Om Shanti, good morning, Diamond morning, and happy Sadhguruvadi. Don't know how well you heard the message. It wasn't so clear, but I was saying we need to get rid of devices, spread vibrations, and we will get the rest, I guess, later on. Today's Murli is the 17th of March 2022. In the essence, Baba says, sweet children, instead of telling entertaining stories of devotion, tell everyone spiritual things. Do the service of liberating everyone from Ravan's kingdom. Question. What main virtue is required to attain success in the service you do? Answer. The virtue of being egoless. It is shown of Mahavir's brave warriors that whenever there is a spiritual gathering somewhere, Mahavir Hanuman would go and sit amongst the shoes because he didn't have body consciousness. However, this requires courage. You can go to any spiritual gathering dressed as you wish and listen to them. Go dressed in an incognito way and serve them. And the song of Baba's Murli. Salutations to Shiva. Om Shanti. This praise is of God, the highest on high. Call him Ishwar, God, or the Supreme Father, Supreme Soul. But just by calling him God, you don't understand him to be the Father. And this is why you should call him the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. He is the creator of this human world. Now, what does the highest on high Father come and say? He says, impure human beings call out to me to come and purify them. Pure means pure. Only God is called the purifier. He truly does definitely come. They remember God in the path of devotion, and so he surely does come. However, he only comes when he has to give the devotees the fruit of their devotion. To give the fruit means to give the inheritance. It is very easy for him. He can give you liberation in life in a second. It is said that King Janak received liberation in life in a second. The name of only one is remembered. Liberation in life is a second. In a second means to receive peace and happiness. People say they want peace, happiness, and a long life. When someone dies at a young age, it is said he had untimely death or that he didn't live a full life. Now, whatever the Father did when he came is remembered. If you receive liberation in life in a second, you must definitely have had bondage in life prior to that. The end of the Iron Age is said to be bondage in life, and the beginning of the Golden Age is said to be liberation in life. It is said, receive liberation in life whilst living at home like King Janak did. Like Janak did. The Father explains, there are just the two things, Raja Yoga and knowledge. Ancient Raja Yoga of Bharat is very well known. Ancient means from the beginning. But from when? Human beings don't know this because they say the duration of each cycle is hundreds of thousands of years. Everyone wants the ancient knowledge and yoga of Bharat. through which Bharat becomes heaven. Bharat is very unhappy. Bharat is now very unhappy. At first, there was the Sun Dynasty kingdom. It doesn't exist now. And so they remember that and ask who taught Raja Yoga and knowledge. They don't know this. Otherwise, there isn't any difficulty in a child receiving his inheritance from his father. Belong to the Father, and you will become worthy of the inheritance. You still have to receive teachings from the mother and father. You still have to receive teachings from the mother, father, and teacher. They do, Bible says, they too need the inheritance of liberation, and this is why they adopt gurus. However, no one can give liberation in life. Only when it is the end of bondage in life, and therefore only when it is the end of bondage in life and before the beginning of liberation in life can the one who gives liberation come. And only when it is the end of bondage in life and before the beginning of liberation in life can the one who gives liberation in life come. People who have only heard there is liberation in life in a second, or can you go from the kingdom of Ravan to the kingdom of Rama? That is, can you become pure from impure? However, they don't know how they can become that. The Father speaks to you souls. There, these are spiritual teachings which the Supreme Spirit gives you. There, it is always human beings who read the scriptures. They say such and such a Mahatma gave them knowledge. Here, there is ancient Raja Yoga and knowledge which the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, gave you 5,000 years ago, through which you became deities. It has now disappeared. If it hadn't disappeared, why would he speak it to you? If human beings didn't come, if human beings didn't become impure, how could the purifier Father come? You have to take 84 births to become impure. The Father explains the details of this to you. He also explains the clans to you. Brahma is required, and the father of Brahma is also required. The father of all three, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, is Shiva. He sits here and gives you ancient knowledge through Brahma, through which you will become the masters of the land of Vishnu. Brahmins become deities. From human beings of the Brahmin religion, you are now becoming those of the deity religion. Therefore, Brahma, the father of the people, is required first. Krishna cannot be called the father of the people. They've made up many wrong stories, such as Krishna had so many queens and children, etc. That is a mistake. In fact, it is Brahma, not Shri Krishna, who has children. Brahma then becomes Krishna. The upheaval of this one birth has confused human beings. They have said Krishna is the god of the Gita and removed Shiva. Everyone says that Brahma has three faces, and so they have become confused. They have completely lost Shiva, the creator. The creator himself comes and tells you how he created the deity religion. You can't ask how God creates the world. People call out to the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, the purifier to come and purify impure beings. The world doesn't know. It is now the kingdom of Ravan. They sit and relate stories of Ravan. Those are called entertaining stories of the path of devotion, whereas these are spiritual things. At this time, all seekers, all the devotees are in Ravan's jail, and they are very unhappy in Ravan's kingdom. Everyone now has to be liberated from the kingdom of Ravan. The Father has now come, and he says, what he says when he comes? Children, now that your 84 births have ended, you have to return home. People call out to me. How do they call out to him? To Baba? Remover of sorrow, bestower of happiness, come. This name only applies to me. There is infinite sorrow in the Iron Age, whereas there is infinite happiness in the Golden Age. In order to give you the inheritance of happiness once again, I am now teaching you Raja Yoga and knowledge once again. This old world is to be destroyed. People are very much afraid of destruction. They feel that if people stop fighting each other, there would be peace. How could there be peace with so many religions? The Father explains, all these religions that exist now didn't exist before. When there was just one religion, there truly was the kingdom of peace and happiness. Now, everyone asks how there can be peace of mind. Oh, first of all, you have to understand what a mind is. A mind and intellect are in each soul. It is the tongue of a person that enables him to speak, and his eyes that enable him to see. On the whole, it would be said that human beings are totally unhappy. It is very easy to tell anyone, remember the Father and the inheritance. The explanation of the tree and the drama also have to be given. And you have these pictures made for that. There is no need to have pictures simply saying Manmanabha. It takes an hour to explain a picture. God taught ancient Raja Yoga, and you receive the kingdom. Human beings would not teach you Raja Yoga. Remember the Father and the inheritance, and that is fine. However, until you explain the details of this to anyone, his intellect wouldn't open. He wouldn't be able to understand the world cycle. After you have seen a drama, a film, that whole drama turns around in your intellect from the beginning to the end. In words, you would say that you have just been to see a drama. You also say that you know this drama. However, there are a lot of details in it. You receive the inheritance of peace and happiness from the Father. You have the cycle in your intellects. Your intellects also definitely have to remember the cycle of 84 births again and again. Only you Brahmins receive this knowledge. And you then become, what do we become after we receive this knowledge? You then become deities. Brahma becomes Vishnu, and Vishnu becomes Brahma. You were deities who took rebirth and then became Brahmins. A limited father simply creates and sustains his children. He would not destroy them. Destruction means the whole of the impure world will not remain. The whole of Ravan's kingdom is to be destroyed. How else would there be the kingdom of Rama? There, they never burn Ravan. Nothing of the path of devotion continues on the path of knowledge. In the golden and silver ages, you experience the reward. That is the reward of knowledge. This is called the reward of devotion. That is temporary, momentary happiness. At first, devotion was unadulterated, and then, as it gradually became adulterated, everyone became completely unhappy. Only the one Father is the bestower of salvation. You have to tell them. What do you have to tell them? Remember the Father and the inheritance. Remember Him and you will receive the sovereignty of heaven. How you come into hell is also explained to you. You now know the beginning, the middle, and the end of the whole world cycle. At this time, you become seers of the three aspects of time. You tell people that even the deities were not seers of the three aspects of time. They would then ask you, so who were who were they? They would then ask you, so who were, that is, who were the knowers of the three aspects of time, or the seers of the three aspects of time? This is because no one knows you Brahmins of the confluence age. It has been shown that Hanuman used to go and sit amongst the shoes wherever there was a spiritual gathering. Why have they said this of Mahavir? Mahavir is also Hanuman. Because you children don't have body consciousness. For instance, if such a topic arises in a spiritual gathering, you can tell them, if you want to receive liberation, and liberation in life in a second by studying ancient Raja Yoga and knowledge, then go to such and such a place. The one who explains has to be very courageous and egoless. There shouldn't be the slightest body consciousness. You can go and sit anyway. And if you are given some time, you should speak to them. If someone is strong, he would give lectures on how it is possible to receive liberation in life in a second whilst living at home with his or her family. No one apart from the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, can give you this. Only brave warriors can explain this. You are not forbidden to listen to them. Whilst living at home with whilst living at home, you children can do a lot of service. Tell them what you have to tell them. If you want to study Raja Yoga, go to the Brahma Kumaris. As you progress further, your name will be glorified. There will be a majority now, and there are only a few. Your name has been mentioned in reference to abducting people. They say that Krishna abducted women. But there is no question of abduction. Would a teacher abduct anyone to teach him or her? Those who do service have to churn the ocean of knowledge a great deal and also remain very courageous. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bapdada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children say Namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dharma, first point. Liberate all seekers, the devotees, from Ravan's jail. Show everyone the path to liberation and liberation in life in a second. Second point, remember the Father and the inheritance. Renounce body consciousness. Be a brave warrior and do service. Churn the ocean of knowledge and invent new methods of doing service. Baba's blessing for today. May you be constantly unshakable and immovable and experience the stage of pleasure in adverse situations by using the method of nothing new. Brahmins means those who are constantly in a state of pleasure. Always have this song playing in your hearts, and the song Waha Baba and Waha My Fortune. In the world, do not be surprised by any situation of upheaval, but put a full stop. No matter what happens for you, it is nothing new. It is not anything new. Make your stage so unshakable internally that you do not let your minds become confused with what or why. You will then be said to be unshakable and immovable souls. The slogan for today, let there be good feelings and good wishes in your attitude, and these pure vibrations will continue to spread. Om Shanti.